Hello my dear students of class 9. This is the second video for you, and I will explain today chapter 6 tissue. You have already studied chapter 5 cell. That what is cell? Cell is the functional and structural unit of life. That is basic unit of life is cell. And now tissue, these cells togetherly combine to form tissue. So what is tissue? Tissue is the combination of similar type of cells that perform similar function. Now tissues of both plants and animals are totally different from each other. Why? The question arises that why? Because the plants cannot move from one place to another. Then again animals can move from one place to another place. Plants have their structural function and structural organization is not so complex like animals. So both the tissues of both the plants and animals are totally different from each other. So first we study about the plant tissue. So let's start plant tissue and have a look in page number 69. The growth of plants occurs only in certain specific regions. This is because the dividing tissue, also known as meristematic tissue, is located only at these points depending on the regions where they are present. Meristematic tissues are classified as apical, lateral and intercalary. New cells produced by the meristems are initially like those of meristems itself, but as they grow and mature, their characteristic slowly change and they become differentiated as components of other tissue. That means that the plants contain meristematic tissue on their tip, intercalary, that is lateral region. So meristematic tissues are those type of tissue that can grow, divide throughout their life. So when these meristematic tissue get matured and differentiated, that is becomes permanent, and this conversion of meristematic tissue into permanent tissue is called as differentiation. Now look at the figure, that apical meristem, that means according to their location, the meristematic tissues are of three types. That is, at the tip it is called apical meristem. Then intercalary meristem, that means you can see that it is the nodal region between the two internode. It is the nodal region and it is called intercalary meristem. It helps in growth of the cells. And the last one is lateral meristems. It is present laterally in the plants and it helps in secondary growth of thickness. Now cells of meristematic tissues are very active. They have dense cytoplasm, thin cellulose wall and prominent nuclei. They lack vacuoles. Can we think why they would lack vacuoles? Because the meristematic tissue does not store food in this, because all the foods are required for the division. So it does not store any food. Therefore, the vacuoles in the cells are lacking. Now, second type of tissue, that is permanent tissue. First one is meristematic tissue. Second one is permanent tissue. Again, permanent tissue is after differentiation of meristematic tissue, it becomes permanent. And again, permanent tissue are of three types. That is parenchyma, sclerenchyma and collenchyma tissues. So permanent tissues are of two types. that is simple permanent tissue and then complex permanent tissue. So what happens to the cells formed by meristematic tissue? They take up a specific role and lose the ability of divide. When the meristematic tissue lose their ability, that is when they are not able to divide, as a result they form a permanent tissue. This process of taking up permanent shape, size and a function is called differentiation. So what is differentiation? The process of taking up a permanent shape, size and function is called differentiation. So it is important, so learn it. Differentiation leads to the development of various types of permanent tissue. First one, simple permanent tissue. Again, simple permanent tissue are of three types: parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. A few layers of cells beneath the epidermis. When we cut a small stem or a thin stem, we can see this is longitudinal section of the stem and this is the transverse section of the stem. We can see that the outermost layer, it is called cuticle or epidermis. Outermost is epidermis and it is covered with cuticle to prevent water loss. Then again, next to the epidermis, we can see here collenchyma cells or tissue. Again, just beneath the collenchyma, we can see parenchyma. And this is phloem. Phloem and xylem constitute the complex tissue, not simple tissue. So these are the structure of different simple tissues. First one is parenchyma, second one is collenchyma and third one is sclerenchyma. Sclerenchyma is due to deposition, it becomes very we have a brief explanation of these three tissues. Parenchyma is the most common simple permanent tissue. It consists of relatively unspecialized cells with thin cell walls. They are living cells. They are usually loosely arranged. Loosely arranged means presence of this type of intercellular space. So these are loosely arranged. And thus large spaces between cells are found in this tissue. This tissue generally stores food. This is the function of parenchyma. In some situation, it contains chlorophyll and perform photosynthesis. So chlorophyll contained by the cells in leaves mostly, and then it is called chlorenchyma. In aquatic plants, large air cavities are present in parenchyma to help them float. Such a parenchyma type is called erenchyma, just as in water hyacinth. Water hyacinth plant, you can see are floating on the water just because of the presence of these erenchyma cells. The flexibility in plants is due to the another permanent tissue, collenchyma. It allows bending of various parts of the plant like tendril and stems of climbers without breaking. It also provides mechanical support. We can find this tissue in leaf stalks below the epidermis. The cells of these tissues are living, elongated and irregularly thickened at the corners. There is very little intercellular space. So these tissues, that is collenchyma, is flexible and it helps in plants flexibility. And the last one, that is yet another type of permanent tissue, is sclerenchyma. It is the tissue which makes the plant hard and stiff. We have seen the husk of a coconut. It is made of sclerenchymatous tissue. The cells of this tissue are dead. They are long and narrow as the walls are thickened due to lignin. Often these cells are so thick that there is no internal space inside the cell. This tissue is present in stems around vascular bundles, in the veins of leaves and in the hard covering of seeds and nuts. It provides strength to the plant parts. Thus we can say, we see that we have seen in this chapter that meristematic tissue, parenchyma, and collenchyma tissue. These are the living cells, and sclerenchyma tissues are the containing the dead cells. Certain specific features are present in this epidermal layer of the plants. So these are the outermost layer of the cells called epidermis. The epidermis is usually made up of a single layer of cells. In some plants living in very dry habitats, the epidermis may be thicker since protection against water loss is critical. The entire surface of plants has an outer covering epidermis. It protects all the parts of the plant. Epidermal cells on the aerial parts of the plant. Aerial parts means that is the parts of the plants that present above the soil. Often secrete a waxy water resistant layer on their outer surface. This aids in protection against loss of water, mechanical injury and invasion by parasitic fungi. You can see the leaves are so shiny and smooth. So this is due to the presence of cuticle. Since it has a protective role to play, cells of the epidermal tissue form a continuous layer without intercellular spaces. Most epidermal cells are relatively flat. Often their outer and side walls are thicker than the inner wall. We can observe small pores here and there in the epidermis of the leaf. These pores are called stomata. Stomata are enclosed by two kidney-shaped cells called guard cells. They are necessary for the exchanging gases with the atmosphere. Transpiration, that is the loss of water in form of water vapor, also takes place through stomata. So we can say during the photosynthesis, the exchange of gases takes place through these stomata. So these stomata has a crucial role in photosynthesis. And again, the epidermal layer, what is the function of epidermal layer? It protects against the loss of water and invasion of parasitic fungi, etc. So that's all for this video. Thank you.